idea was developing this lab was to validate my own product. So my own emission monitoring system, which I manufacture, I don't have any validation facility in India and other in Asia today also. So we started that journey, and in 2021, we got a breakthrough.
Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to this BWU Expert Session with Dr. Pritesh M Shah on advancing reliability to sustainability through precision emission monitoring. Before I introduce the speaker, I will like to take this opportunity to share a little bit about Boiler World Update and the community we are building. Reaching more than 170,000 members of the heat and steam industry, Boiler World Update is a leading newsletter covering technical articles, case studies, and committed to highlighting the best voices from across the board. In the next step of our journey, we have launched Boiler World Update Heat and Steam, that is BWU Heat and Steam, the world's biggest community of verified professionals from the heat and steam industry. The objective is to bring people together to share perspectives, thoughts, and insights unique to this field. I will be sharing the link to join our community in the chat box towards the end of this session. We would love to have you all in this community. And now, without delay, I will introduce today's speaker, Dr. Pritesh M Shah. Ladies and gentlemen, absolute honor to introduce our expert speaker for today's session. Dr. Pritesh M Shah is a visionary entrepreneur, a dynamic leader, and a true pioneer in India's environmental and safety technology sector. Starting his journey in 1992 with just 140 rupees, he turned a childhood dream into a national contribution by founding Prima Equipment. Driven by the philosophy of providing genuine solutions rather than just hardware, he successfully bridged a massive gap for Indian industries by designing rugged, affordable, and world-class emission monitoring systems that challenged costly global imports. Today, his impact spans far beyond the boardroom. Not only has he led Prima to become an international powerhouse with Asia's first world-class testing and calibration lab of its kind, but he is also deeply committed to nation building. He's a youth mentor and philanthropist through the Kalabharti Charitable Foundation. So once again, a warm welcome to you, Dr. Pritesh M Shah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be our speaker for this session. And over to you, sir.
Shubda, it's an honor to be with a Boiler World Update session. So, dear participants, it's to listen someone on the very physical one-to-one and to be on online. It is always going to be a challenge. But what I'll do is I'll have my screen here, where the data is going to be reflected here. So we'll be having a complete evening together for the talking about the compliance with credibility. And more important is reliability to sustainability. Every day, everyone today, everybody is talking about sustainability. Now what? How to achieve that sustainability? So see, 3 years back, 4 years back, we started understanding about emission monitoring system. So what we manufacture in India. So being an indigenous manufacturer, we definitely have a challenge, to compete with a multinational company, where they have already told that the equipment has to be of certain certification, of the European certification or an American certification. So as an Indian manufacturer, designer, innovator, there's always going to be a problem. Now the solution is what? Either you send your manufactured product to Europe, or maybe there are two facilities. One is in Germany, one is in the UK. Or you have some facility developed in our own nation, wherein our own innovators, our own startup peoples can take that benefit and give us solutions as a reasonable solution, reasonable cost, and after sales service to our Indian industries. So we started this journey at 8 years back of understanding the need of this testing facility, because it's next to impossible for any MSME industry to reach to the European laboratory, spending of maybe on 2 CR, and that too also not knowing what will happen. So we started with a very small analytical lab and then grew into the adding to the things of the facility of testing. The idea was developing this lab was to validate my own product. So my own emission monitoring system, which I manufacture, I don't have any validation facility in India and other in Asia today also. So it was like to validate my own product into that. So we started that journey, and in 2021 we got a breakthrough after a lot of hurdles from I should not tell, but uh, we'll be discussing as an open. Sukhdar, what I'll be doing with the participant is let be a frank enough of talking and discussing all the story and the experience what we have, because here we are not to promote product or any testing facility. We are here to have an understand the experience and case study what it takes that all the challenges it took to have an AMS or CMS system, to have an AMSAT certification or an certification as per the EN standard. So the journey was not so easy, because if you establish any testing facility, the foremost requirement is you need to have an accreditation. So the accreditation as per the ISO IEC 17025. Now the question is, like being an Indian manufacturer or Indian laboratory, definitely I will go with an national accreditation board in India, what we have. So unfortunately, the NABL, like what we call National Accreditation Board, do not have that facility to accredit the testing laboratory as per the EN 14181 and 15267. Now, from where this standard comes, the question is why I'm talking about the EN standard. Why not any other standard of Indian or Asian or Chinese or any other country? The question is in 2013, let's go back to the story. In 2013, the Ministry of Environment and Forest designed one guidelines, which was published in 2014, then revised in 15, 16, and then finally in 18, it was designed. So in that guidelines, they mentioned that your equipment, the CEMS equipment, the continuous emission monitoring system, the equipment which industry should install should have a certain certification. Though the certification may varies with an TUV certification or AMCert or maybe US EPA certification. So the question comes, certification, but what standard? So unfortunately, in 2014, 15, 16, neither of officers was knowing about standard. They only know about that TUV. Oh, TUV hona chahiye. Now that's not that enough. It's a laboratory, but there is a testing standard. So in guidelines, it is mentioned about that EN standard 15267-3. So the standard comes from there. So we started with as we applied, as India doesn't have that facility all the way, we have to go to the USA, and we took that services from International Accreditation Service USA to have an audit of the things. Till then, laboratory was not knowing what good thing they are doing or what best thing they are doing. Unless the auditor on the last day they says that we are very much happy to propose your laboratory as a first Asian laboratory facility to have an CEMS testing as per the European standard of what the standard we have mentioned. So 2021, this is a first laboratory because we have a facility. Unfortunately, what happened? Unfortunately, what happened? The benefit of this testing facility was not being taken by the industries. The reason being is that pollution, neither the pollution board has put in a guidelines or any notifications, or they made compulsions or compulsion on about the reliability part. So what is happening? The guidelines says you must install the equipment. Guidelines also say that you must test the equipment, but there was no inspection of the reliability of the parameters generated from the emission monitoring equipment. So what happened? As a numerical value, I installed the equipment in my boiler chimney, but the data which I am receiving, are you sure about that data are reliable? Not. Even if you have installed the imported equipment within so-called TUV or AMSAT certified product, because when we'll go with the next journey of our slide, no, I'll tell you why this once installed or once certified equipment is not really end to the story of the measurement. So this is what the preliminary, what I would like to say, that what was the journey and how the in India today also the reliability is negotiated in pollution monitoring equipment. The reason being, since last 10 years or 11 years or 12 years, like 12 years rather, I'll say, it was there to be have a testing laboratory, but it has not been initiated. Or probably it takes us, like all the scientific brain of India, is taking so huge time to establish this laboratory, as in which is called, हम लोग को क्या होता है कि गवर्नमेंट का होता है तो लगता है कि ये सही है. So when the private industry comes, no, they feel doubt about that. But you know better, as the people are running the industry, they know how the things are. Rather, it is a different. So let's go with the journey of the experience and the case study of India's first CEMS, with it tested and AMCert certified. It is the only equipment which is AMCert certified in currently in Asia continent. With then performance validation tested as per the RATA, also as per the US EPA. In US, they don't need certification. They go with the process of validation. We'll discuss in the journey of that. So the content what we'll have is the importance of and thought process, then the importance of quality reliability, overview of key standards, overview of quality assurance level, key components of comprehensive CMS system testing, key benefits of quality assurance level 1, that's in short we call QL 1, and the available facilities for performance testing as per the QL 1. So this is the content of discussion we'll be focusing on. So this is the first, like everybody knows about those who are into the field of industrial, those who are in the field of pollution, those who know about the state pollution control board or a central pollution control board, they are very well aware about the meaning what you will be discussing here. So in continuous is like pollution monitoring was like you don't have any options now. You need to have that. It is not about the monitoring. You need, it's the mandate to have a controlling also. But the only question is, why monitor? Before control, what do you want to control? You need to monitor. After you use the controlling device, you need to monitor that it is continuously controlling or not. So the monitoring aspects comes either both the way into that. So it is very important that our monitoring system has to have a more reliable into that. So environmental footprint, but also provides compliance and stringent regulations are all there in the entire world. Every country, every continent has its own methodology of implementation. In India, see that in 2014, it was directed as a 17 category of highly polluted industry must install the CEMS system. And a lot of things are written into guidelines, what type of industry, what type of pollutants to be measured, what type of the technology to be used. In India, we restricted the technology also, that this is the only technology we must use. But in last 15 years, we did try to develop the technology measuring equipment. So, but it is there. They took everything from either Europe or either from US. Nothing wrong into that. Taking that things and learning from the stalwarts or the big experienced countries. The question is transparency in air emission data and the accountability in the operations. Now, when I'm generating a data, okay, so data has to be, because what I'm doing in India, what we have done is the data generated and it has been sent on real-time basis to the Central Pollution Control Board server. So each and every minute data, 24 into 365 days, my data have been watched by the Central Pollution Control Board into that. Now, when they are watching, they must be taking some actions also. Now, the question is, if my data are always good, which, because I don't know what industry can do is, or something to comply, this becomes the compliance. Because CPCB never in 2014, before 2014, go into the market and to the industry, and they educated the industry the benefit of monitoring. They only say enforcement. They enforce that monitoring has to be there. They didn't educate it. So if you could have educated, probably today the scenario what we see after having an installation of more than 15, 20,000 of CEMS system, still we are facing the problem of the AQI in that case. So accountability was missing, transparency was missing, reliability was missing, and as the reliability was missing, obviously we negotiated with the sustainability of question into that. So in the current scenario, with the increase in industry, pollution is also increasing and reduced pollution corrective measures. And then national and international levels, regulations has to be there, must be there, but with then methodology how I can have an more reliable data rather than having a compliance data. So compliance data is what? मेरे कंसेंट में लिखा है कि 150 ppm से ऊपर नहीं जाना है, मिलीग्राम से ऊपर नहीं जाना है. I manage that 150 below that. So everybody is happy, pollution board is happy, management is happy, equipment manufacturer who has installed that, he is also happy rather. क्योंकि मेरा equipment सही चल रहा है. But that's not actually the truth here. So that's what I always say. This is very important sentence. You must take it. Installing the CEMS or continuous emission monitoring system is just a first step. Okay, that's a very good. You need a courage. Like industry needs a courage to measure the pollutants what they send emit into the air, but has not undergone the rigorous testing and quality assurance. Is like a scale that cannot be trusted. It may display numbers, but the data lack credibility. This is very important. So what has happened in India? We believe in our Prime Minister's message of Make in India, Made in India. You know, so I always talk about Made in India, difference between Made in India and Make in India. Now, what has happened? We produce a traders. So what we have done, the easiest way rather than do innovate is to buy from somewhere, integrate here and sell it to that. And that has given a data lack credibility. The biggest problem has come. So compliance is must was supported for clear implementation guidelines. And this is what the European standards works and the US EPA CFR Title 40 standards for the USA into that. Now, this framework, it's already there. It is established. It is written into the CPCB guidelines as well, into that relative accuracy test, quality 1, quality 2, annual surveillance test. We'll discuss on the further slide about the detailing about this qual 1, qual 2, AST, and about RATA. This ensures that you have a defining percentage emission limit value at 95% confidence interval. See, I don't say you have a 100%, but you must come up with then optimize that my data are reliable when I'm receiving into that. So these are the key standards which our system was performed, our testing was performed on our system. This, as again I repeat you, this I'm presenting with a case study where our system was gone into the testing of the European standard. So the quality and reliability of CMS performance was EN 14181, wherein qual 1, qual 2, qual 3, and AST. Not many people in this audience must have heard the qual 1 word. Call 1 chahiye humko, call 1 certified chahiye. Now, after the 30 minutes, probably you will say that no, we don't want certified equipment. We want tested equipment, which comes with a test report, where I can understand what are the drift value, what are the, my linearity values are differing into that. So this is more important rather to having a piece of paper of a certification. So these are the standards. I'll be more talking about 15259, very primary important standard. So while obtaining TUV AMCET certificate for your installed CMS system is a significant milestone because you spend a lot of money and you bought a good equipment. But relying only on this certification is insufficient for ensuring long-term performance and compliance. So this is not once certified doesn't mean lifetime certified. The standard says something different, which will come into the next slide. So regular testing and adherence to standards will give you reliability, validation, and sustainability. So importance of regular testing and certification. Now, continuous performance reliability. See, any measuring equipment, if you take it as a small multimeter in your laboratory or any your scale, digital scale or either thing, you need to ensure that it is properly tested and the measurement what I'm getting is reliable. Maybe there is a tolerance, but it should be defined tolerance. It should be a drift, but it should be defined drift. You must be knowing that what drift it is. So regular testing, particularly as per the call to AST protocols, RATA, ensures that system continues to operate reliable. Now, why here I didn't mention call one? Because quality assurance level one is the process where I manufacture my product and send into the laboratory for the testing and certification. So one, my call one testing and certified product, I don't have to again and again do a call one testing. But the standard says that you have to perform call two AST protocols and RATA as per the country's requirement. In India, we talk about more about the EN standard here. Validation and compliance. So this framework will validate your system. When the system is validated as per the standard and testing procedures, definitely your data also which you receive are validated data. Because आप जितना टेस्ट अच्छा करोगे वो परफॉर्म अच्छा करो और आउटपुट वही मिलने वाला है. Then sustainability, obviously, is not. I don't need to say anything about sustainability unless you have a data, reliable data. You can't have a sustainability. So more the data. See, I always ask a question in the open forum. What is the main ingredient to achieve the sustainability in any field? I will talk always. What is the main ingredient? You can answer if you can mute and you can say that. If not, I'll tell you the main ingredient, any sustainability policies is always built on the past datas. The past datas are not reliable. You are damn sure your sustainability policy is going to collapse. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow. So the important, maybe today I drafted a best policy, sustainable policy. Yeah, anybody speaking? You want to share something?
I think by mistake, sir. I think you can proceed.
Okay. So the important is to have a reliable data logging into that. So maybe of five now today, if my government and wants to have a sustainable policy about the emission or the pollutants, now he says and it's a Central Pollution Control Board and asks the data of last 10 years, 12 years rather, 2014 to 2026 now. Are the pollution board or any department will say 100% these are the reliable data? No. Why? They said that you install TUV and ANSEL certified. So industry invested into that and they installed that system. Then why you can say that, why you deny that it is not a reliable data? Why the data cannot be used? That's a question comes here. And this is what our experience says while we haven't tested of our equipment. So the initial certification is called one testing, where you have EN 14181 and 15267-3. These are the standards. Now to go before 15267-3, you have to have a 1 and 2 also as well. We will see what 1 and 2. So it's not that anybody who manufacture equipment and just send in a laboratory and you get a call 1. No. There are a lot of procedures with the quality management system, your design, everything has been getting audited. But there is a call to this 15267-2 says you have to have a certain features or the software password features or locking systems or calibration features. Such features need to be there. Then you get a qualified for test sending and your equipment for the laboratory testing. So we'll discuss on that. Periodic quality assurance test. So after your equipment, call one equipment you purchased and it is being installed at your place, the quality assurance testing has to be conducted every 5 years to have a calibration and functional checks to identify and rectify any deviations. Any measuring equipment is tend to have a drift. So to manage the drift, you need to have a testing. Another further annual surveillance test. I'll come with the next slide with that one chart where it very easily understood. Annual surveillance test, any certified equipment, if it is not been tested at AST like every 12 months, as per the EN standard, please be noted, I'm putting a stress on my word, any certified equipment, either TUV, AMSOT or US EPA, rather more I'll tell about the European standard. If it is not tested, annual so AST, as per the standard of 15267, 14181, then equipment is considered as a known certified equipment. You are not relying about that data as a certified equipment data output. This is not I'm saying, this is what the standard says, for the which the equipment every Indian industry has purchased based on the myth of like TUV and AMSAT certification. Relative accuracy tests like RATA and RRA responsive audits as the US EPA, as if some countries like Southeast Asia, many countries like Malaysia, Thailand, their countries they follow the US EPA standards. They don't say talk about the certification. They talk about US standard. US believes that certification is not important, validation is important. So you install your equipment into the boiler chimney, you start functioning of the equipment, and then they will perform, the laboratory will perform the test at the site and will check the performance of this equipment. So it's more relaxed, but it's more stringent because after installation you are doing, so it's more reliability also that comes. They don't, US doesn't believe in the certification, they goes on the validation into that. So our equipment we send for that also. We have done this for 3 months into 3 times, so total 9 months, and simultaneously on the same chimney, 2 system identical installed, and it was performed as a RATA and RRA. So now benefits, the key components. So benefit, like what benefit about having a reliable tested equipment as per the international standards or whatever standards we define into that, but it should perform. So that ensures the quality and reliability. It standardizes the testing equipment, drift and linearity check, very important, because every measuring equipment will carry a standard thing is like to have a drift. Maybe it's an aging drift or maybe a performance drift, either of it, and the linearity checks. So this is what you can have benefit, and the systematic assessment and verification. It's not only for compliance. We don't talk about compliance. We talk about creditability of your data. So we have more, we must talk about, we must think about the compliance part, that things. So this is the sentence everybody, either you can take the photograph, you can scan it, or you can write down. This is the most important, this is the biggest myth in India and the Indian industry. I'm with the Indian industry. 100% I'm with the Indian industry. They are polluters, but we are not guided them. We are not provided a knowledge to them. We only done is enforcement. And moment you done with enforcement within with certain deadlines, industry is forced to adopt certain things which is probably not available, not known to their team members also. So here the complete CEMS, that means continuous emission monitoring system, is to be tested and certified, not only analyzer. So what happened here, just for the knowledge of the team members, those who are here, what happened since 2014? I told you, no? So now India doesn't have an equipment manufacturing facility at that time. India doesn't have a testing facility to meet to the international standard, for the standard which is mentioned by the CPCB guidelines in 2030. Now India industry has to follow that. So what is done? You can't afford, industry cannot afford, I'm talking of medium or large scale industry. I don't talk about corporates or government sectors. The government sectors have our money. But with the private sector, I'm talking, if you want to import an original certified European product, CEMS will not cost you less than 50 to 60 lakhs rupees. Then just for no reason, nobody will spend. So what happened in the due course? All the integrators and the dealers, they start gathering and they start buying the analyzer only, and so-called certified analyzer, And they started other things they manufactured in India. They put that analyzer inside and they start selling as a TUV certified product, which is the violation of the entire code or the standard, because standard says complete system starting from the sampling probe, sampling tube, gas conditioning, sampling device, your microprocessor, your analyzer, your PLC or HMI, your software, rather software also, okay, and then data acquisition system of IoT device. Entire thing has to undergo under the testing into the laboratory. Then only the call one testing is done. So this was the myth. The major myth was that, and this is how the components of call one testing works here. So the primary is 15267, where the only documentation, your factory premises has been checked. In 15267.2, your quality management system has been checked. That are you really a manufacturer or you are assembling here? So those who are in assembly, probably they doesn't go with the third step into that. So once you passed 1, 2, then only the third comes with the laboratory test. And after the laboratory test performance is over, then it goes field test. And the criteria for the field test is, we have undergone this entire challenge. So I'm able to share. Field test criteria is you must have an certain ELV, above ELV pollutant stack. So process, like we choose as a power plant. Okay. And in power plant, I need to use two identical systems to be installed in the power with the stack, two identical system in the stack, and it is 90 days. There is a various clauses are there. I will come to that point. Need to be performed for 90 days. Now, my worry was like, we know our country, and we know the Germans and Europeans also. They are very highly nationalist, If you start and apply as an Asian manufacturer, go and apply there, they will say, no, baba, they will hesitate. They will put you like a lot of questions on you. So हमने क्या किया, 3 महीना नहीं, हमने 3 महीने का 3 slot किया. So 6 and 9 months. It was a mammoth task. The reason is कोई industry तो मिलनी चाहिए ना मेरे को. So there are industries who says, okay, you are made in India, then we love India, so we will give you an opportunity to use our facility. You to जितना होल भी पढ़ाने पड़ते हैं ना उसके अंदर, चिमनी में होल भी करने पड़ते हैं, एयर कंडीशन पूरा मेरे को शेल्टर भी चाहिए और पूरा यूटिलिटी में उसका यूज करूंगा, इंक्लूडिंग इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, your compressed air and whatever, what not. So this was good part. We have a 2 company who supported us into that, and the field test of 90 into 3 we completed. So this is very important slide. When I finish this slide, I wish that the participants, for their knowledge, they can take the screenshot. Now, type of call. I say we are talking about call 1 chahiye, call 1 chahiye, call 2 chahiye, call 3. What is that actually? So call 1 to be performed when? Before installation of CEMS. So that means I am a manufacturer, so I will send my product to laboratory, will get tested and certified. So it is once certified, things are done. It goes with the same parameter. Call 2, post installation with calibration. This to be done every 5 years. See, the second bottom you can see. So call 1 should be done once only in the life of the product. If I am not changing any major specification, then it to be done once. Call 2 to be done once in a 5 year. Call 3 to be done continuously, because this is to be done by the operator, the industry who is a user. So he has to maintain that entire system as per the operational manual provided by the manufacturer. So this is a continuous process. And AST to be done annually. Now, हर साल करना है AST. Now the third row देखिए. Who can perform this? This is very important and very like you will surprise that this is a fact. And ये मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, standard बोल रहा है. So it has nothing to do with me, because I also follow with the standards. Or a standard is available on Google. Anybody can search it. It's an open here. So call 1 can be performed by an ISO IEC 17025 accredited laboratory for the scope. So the laboratory, बहुत है, हजारों laboratory इंडिया में है. but you should have the scope of EN 14181, 15267-3, 14956, or the standards. Unless he doesn't have that scope, he cannot perform. He can test rather, but he cannot accredited test नहीं बोला जाता उसको. Qual 2 again the same, so accredited laboratory having the scope. Qual 3 operator को करना है तो कोई laboratory की जरूरत नहीं है, you don't need anything else. AST, which is to be performed annually. Okay, so now has to be done by an accredited laboratory having the scope. Now the beauty of entire process is, in entire Asia continent, there is no laboratory having an accreditation of 17025 with the scope of EN standard 14181 or 15267-3. So now just tell me, some company, multinational company, has sold an equipment, you bought in some X company product which is certified in 2014, 15 or 16. Okay, what will happen? You must have taken up the equipment after 1 year and sent back to the Germany in TUV for the certification or the testing of AST? No. So from the very next day of your 12 month, your product is as good as legally uncertified. Which is, I am not saying, you can refer to the standard says, or you can check with the TUV German, TUV Rheinland Germany, who performs a laboratory test into the Germany. They will tell you what exactly it means. So now all the equipment which has been considered as a TUV or AMSAT certified installed by the Indian industry, you can understand what will be the status, what will be the compliance status, and sustainability status. Then these are the relevant standards which I mentioned, that the clauses which I mentioned, it has to be tested for that. This is the most important chart, which is very simplified about this process of quality assurance level and certification. Now, general requirement. Hello, yeah.
Dr. Shah, may I ask one question?
Yeah, tell me, yeah.
Yeah, Namita Thakur here from Green Economy, Dr. Seni's organization.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So the previous slide that you mentioned, the types of call, you've clearly been talking that there is no accreditation body as so far which has the scope of these standards.
That's true.
For 17025, yeah.
Now, since 2021, there is a laboratory in India.
Okay.
But it has not been enlisted or been recognized by the MOEF or the CPCB.
Okay.
In that case.
Okay. What is the laboratory's name, if I can know?
It's the TCQA. It will come on my slide and the last where our equipment was tested. So it is a TCQA Labs Private Limited.
Okay, and they have taken the accreditation from?
They're from IS USA. India, this NABL doesn't have that scope.
Okay. IQAS.
This EN standard. Suppose you have a laboratory of EN standard. Need to be accredited, audited by the accreditation board?
Yes.
Okay. Now, for NABL in India, doesn't carry the scope to accredit and audit for this standard.
Yeah.
So you have to go overseas. So we have gone to USA.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you for the information.
Yeah. So shall I move ahead? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you. So this was a general requirement. So this will be called as a visual test, as I explained you before you go for call 1, that 15267-3. These are the primary requirement of the CE labeling. You must be having a 61010 tested equipment for EMF, security, output range, then display of operational status. So it comes with a diagnostic feature also. So if I have my system is installed, if anything goes wrong, the pressure or flow, it should pop up on my screen. It's not only a measuring equipment. It should ensure that my system works properly and keeps on giving me an information about continuously that what is happening. So these are the tests. So you remember that call 1, then 15267, 2, and 3. In 3, we have told you about the lab test and field test. Now in lab test, these are the clauses. It has to be tested in the laboratory. It is called response time, repeatability, deviation at 0, at span, lack of feed, 0 and span drift, influence of ambient temperature. Now see, I'll give you a beautiful example. there are the equipments available, which those who are already in industry, they know that equipment is installed at the chimney level, including controller, the gas measurement or a dust measurement, including controller, electronic controller, is installed at the chimney level. Now, entire qual 1 test of 15267 test goes under the controlled temperature of between 23 to 28 degree temperature. Now just tell me, if you don't, it's not wrong using that. In maybe India's tropical condition is that we have from -2 to 50 degree, 49 degree temperature with a 4-5 season, different type of humidity, wind and everything. We have different tropical condition. Now, considering that tested equipment is 23 to 28 degree temperature, if I'm installing at the stack point that controller, you are going to have 100% influence of ambient temperature. That is not wrong also. Subject to, you have the test report of that, not certificate page. I'm talking test report, where it is mentioned the influence of temperature will give you this much tolerance or this much inaccuracy. So while you compensate in your reading that मेरे को 12 मिला तो 12.5 होना चाहिए, तो I'll add that 0.5. That is not wrong also, but you should have the test report of TORLN who has tested your equipment and certified that equipment. That test report should be, which is not available. Because when you perform your next calibration or testing, you need that past data. The equipment was calibrated at what level, influence at what level, then only I can make a comparison what is the deviation is there or not into that. So influence of gas, sample gas flow, extractive rather, not into the institute type. Influence of voltage variations, cross sensitivity. कई लोग बोलते हैं यूपीएस का क्या जरूरत है, हमारे यहाँ तो लाइट जाती ही नहीं है, तो हम डायरेक्ट ही इलेक्ट्रिसिटी दे देते हैं, वो भी सही है, जाती नहीं है तो बहुत अच्छा है, but this bypass this clause 10.17 is bypassed. So the reliability is negotiated. I don't say it is wrong, but it is negotiated a little bit. And the field test, same thing. We have more added part into that. It's calibration, response time, lack of fit, maintenance, interval, zero and span drift. The most important here, you will see the clause is 8.3. I would like to highlight, I'll take a 2 minutes on that. Determination of homogeneity of EN 15259 is the standard. Now, standard says, आपके पास कितना भी बड़ा certified equipment हो, किसी का भी किया हुआ हो, but if it is not properly installed, it violates the certification clauses. Now, what is the exact installation? So 15259 says, before you decide the sampling probe location, you must do the isokinetic test. Maybe there is a 4 side, you have a flange, you have an what you call isokinetic sampling. You must be knowing that 11585 or other IS. If somebody is from laboratory, they may be knowing that isokinetic test. So that test, you have to have 3 days, maybe on 24 samples. You put into the formula of this EN 15259, and that will give you a defined place where you should install your sampling probe to have a most homogeneous sample into that for optimum result. How many of everybody is performing? Nobody is performing. Everybody says we want certified. क्योंकि टेंडर में डाल दिया ना, गवर्नमेंट टेंडर में डाल दिया, कॉर्पोरेट ने डाल दिया, बड़े बड़े गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर ने टेंडर में डाल दिया, TUE, EMSET. So this was bypassed. The purpose was. So this is what calibration function, functional test of the testing. Then
so just a reminder, we are at 5:48. Just a reminder.
Yeah, thank you. So I already explained you about the 15259, the states. So benefits, data is reliable and accurate, providing insight into process efficiency. See, since last 2 years, last year I was within a European country where I was invited as a speaker. And I started one new concept there. And it was very well received by the entire audience, the European audience rather, I'll say. Was that use this CEMS not only for the pollution measurement, use this for the process optimization. See, process optimization will give you either yield to your production or will give you saving your money into that. So वो concept से अगर if you start investing into CEMS system, reliable CEMS system, probably that will give you a process, entire back process you can optimize by measuring your pollutant outlet. As an example, if I'm measuring a dust, I can know what is my ESP is performing, or what the best way my ESP is performing. If I'm measuring gas, I will come to know how the scrubber efficiently it is performing. So rather it will save money. Maybe I don't say it may save lakh rupee, but saving is like earning. Maybe you save 5,000 rupees a day in entire process, or may your product become good, or your entire process become more validated. So this will help. So there's an entire concept. Last year I was there in Europe. I changed that CEMS purpose. We always talk about enforcement purpose or the pollution measurement purpose. This entire purpose goes with an process optimization. And moment you do, the industry will be very happy to invest money into that because usko मालूम है मेरा पैसा बच रहा है in that case. So then increase efficiency of your process, reducing production cost, minimizing waste, and legal compliance. Obviously, everybody buy this equipment for that compliance. So this is about the RATA. You have a very, as I told you, it is for the validation. So what we do, the equipment is installed there, and then after the laboratories who has an accreditation with this scope, we can go there and they will perform and will submit the report to the federal. And then federal will say, okay, this equipment is okay. So this is more popular in Southeast Asian countries where the certification is not much needed. The validation is more focused on that. So this is what they do is a calibration error test, linearity check, calibration linearity adjustment, relative accuracy test, audit procedure. These are the few things are measured and it is performed. So this is for the audience. So our equipment was, as we being in medium scale industry, 7-8 years back, I know where it is tested, but it was out of reach, like, our own, because when you develop your own technology, when you make your own R&D and you put it, unfortunately, we don't have any testing facility. So this is the reason we need to invest into this. And and it is not that my tested was by TCQA, but was certified by the AMSAT UK, is the CSA lab UK. So the lab has recognized this laboratory, Indian laboratory. Unfortunately, Indian government, or I will not say government, but it's a MOEF or the CPCB, is not recognizing this lab. The reason is it's a mindset of 75 years old. The sarkar jo kare, wohi sahi kare. So I hope in due course after this presentation, maybe you spread this word and may some good officers may think of this is benefit for the nation. It is not the benefit for any individual. So benefit called AQI. आप AQI बोलते हैं, AQI होता क्या है, आता कहाँ से? अगर मैं चिमनी में से जहां से सोर्स से ही बंद कर दूं, so I don't need an ambient air quality analyzer. In 2019, there was a gazette published by the MOEF. It's a legal paper. Okay, gazette is a law direction to the MOEF, to MOEF ka, to CPCB and National Physical Laboratory to develop the testing facility as per this standard. Kuch nahi hua. Now it is already tested. It has been developed. I hope if nobody use, but industry must use, because I always say that the important is not about, this is what I just slide with equipment is an AMSAT now. This is the first Asian manufactured equipment, and proud is it is manufactured in India. So reliability to sustainability. So focus on reliability. Definitely the sustainability will come to all the way. And another part, before I end my presentation and about my journey of, about having an AMSAT certification, people feel कि उसमें क्या है, खुद बना दिया laboratory, खुद ही test कर लिया. Laboratory बनाना test करना आसान है, but somebody should validate that. और so validate, अगर Indian कोई validate किया होता तो हम नहीं मानते, क्योंकि we don't believe our own team members. So लेकिन this has been come from Europe. They have validated. So the importance goes high into this. And that is what invest into the CEMS system or a pollution monitoring equipment with the purpose. You have a purpose, not only the enforcement. And develop this enforcement into the education. This is what I've done in an hour, 60 minutes or 50 minutes here. I try to educate the fact about the emission monitoring system, quality and reliability and sustainability. So I thank you so much for the patient listening by all the audience. And Sugudha, thank you so much for the opportunity. And if anybody has any questions, I am here to answer that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pritesh Shah, for this lovely session. It was so informative and so insightful and absolutely up to date. I'm sure all the participants have a lot of takeaways from this session. We have a couple of questions, sir. I will invite Mr. Rajesh Kuwad, if you can please unmute yourself and ask a question. Yes, please.
Good evening, Dr. Shah. This is Rajesh Kuwad out here, sir. I hope you remember me.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the surname, I remember you.
Pritesh bhai, a couple of questions, perhaps not related to the topic which you just now presented. For any combustion equipment, whether it's a boiler or an incinerator or whatnot, your emissions are within the CPCB / State Pollution Control Board norms under normal operation.
Yes.
But if a plant upset happens, there are some upset conditions which come into play. During those upset conditions, those emissions go beyond the set limits.
That's true.
So in that case, what is the ruling of the Pollution Control Board? Do they hold you responsible for going beyond the Pollution Control Board norms at that point of time, or for a finite time period, anything of that sort, or they immediately penalize you?
See, I'm not a pollution board, but I'll give you what is the practice to be done.
Yeah.
Very simple. See, we human also get sometimes sick, होता है हम छुट्टी लेते हैं ना, तो लेकिन छुट्टी लेते और क्या करते हैं, एक चिट्ठी लिखते हैं अपने सर को कि टुडे आई एम नॉट वेल, सो आई वुड लाइक टू हैव एन लीव फॉर दैट. I request every industry to follow your logbook, and from your official email address, which is registered email address to CPCB and State Pollution Board, just send in one email there. Okay, currently our system is under the maintenance or a breakdown, and request you not to consider our emission data. Moment we will review, we will inform you moment it is done. This will help. You are right. Nobody is going to see your email. But this email is a document for you. After हमारे यहाँ है ना नोटिस 4 साल के बाद आता है सर इंडस्ट्री में, बराबर 4 साल के बाद ELV क्रॉस का. सो उस टाइम आपके पास ये ईमेल अपनी फाइल में रहना चाहिए कि सर हमने इन्फॉर्म किया था, बाद में ये भी इन्फॉर्म किया था कि अभी हमारा ठीक हो गया है तो अभी डेटा लीजिए. बट नेवर योर ऑफ योर सिस्टम को बंद मत कीजिए, सेटिंग मत कीजिए. डोंट डू दैट. Just inform official man. I hope this is the right way everybody should follow, and everybody is following that. Okay.
I appreciate what you're saying, Pritesh bhai. But then more practical kya hota hai na? This is a more practical thing. I don't know how to get over this.
Yes.
Once an EPC contract is signed where he has agreed to certain specifications, blah, blah, blah. And he then in turn discusses with OEMs like us, which includes our equipment, along with the CEMS monitoring system and whatnot, and along with flue gas cleaning technologies, if required to meet those emission norms.
Yes.
And when we do the various case studies and whatnot, and then when we come up to him saying that, you know what, if for these unbalanced part conditions, for this case studies, your SOx limits or your NOx limits may go up. This is not a normal operating condition. It is an abnormal condition.
That's true.
And then the client says, okay, then you please include the scrubber, please include the SNCR, please include the SCR if required.
Yes.
And then it adds not only to the equipment cost and the complete
Complete project.
overall, yeah.
Complete project cost will add.
And then more importantly, it adds to the complexity of maintenance too.
Obviously.
So
that is the reason, no, Rajesh ji, that is the reason, you know. हमारे यहाँ ना, see, as I am a manufacturer, if I get an inquiry, you know, I don't submit quotation. वो बोलता है हमें आज के आज फाइनल करना है तो कर लीजिए सर. लेकिन जब तक मेरा एप्लीकेशन क्वेश्चन 2 पन्ने का आप नहीं दोगे ना भर के, तब तक हम कोटेशन नहीं देंगे. We are into the solution business, not in the equipment selling business. Equipment is a part of the solution here. So now without knowing, अब दूसरा क्या होता है सर, हम डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं तो काफी कुछ छुपा लेते हैं कि शायद दवाइयाँ कम दे, डॉक्टर कम बोले, तो ऐसा ये लोग भी करते हैं. इंडस्ट्री में भी आपको डेटा राइट नहीं मिलता. नाउ यू से कि अगर वो नहीं देता तो हम लोग वो थर्ड पार्टी का एनालिसिस रिपोर्ट ले ले. पर पूरा एक सर्कल समझ लो राजेश जी. एनालिसिस रिपोर्ट कौन बनाता है? स्केड्यूल 2 लेबोरेटरी वाला. अभी स्केड्यूल 2 लेबोरेटरी को कंपनी किसने दिया? स्टेट पोल्यूशन बोर्ड ने दिया कि ये 12 कंपनी दे रहा. अब ये 12 कंपनी वो एनवायरमेंट कंसल्टेंट से क्या करवाएगा? लेबोरेटरी से. सो दिस इज, यू नो, दिस इज एंटायर सर्कल. सो वी हैव टू बी कॉशियस. लाइक आप अपनी प्रोजेक्ट में भी यही ध्यान रखना पड़ता है, हमको भी ये ध्यान रखना पड़ता है कि वी नीड टू टेक आउट द राइट pollutant details or the process detail before we suggest any equipment. बाकी तो एक सिंपल है. इंडस्ट्री व्हाट क्या इज अ स्कैपगोटिंग बिजनेस सर. इंडस्ट्री क्या करेगी? जैसा कुछ आगे पीछे हुआ ना रीडिंग, सीधा एक ईमेल कर देगी ऑफिशियल आपको. बराबर है? योर इक्विपमेंट इज नॉट वर्किंग. व्हाई दे डू दिस? तो कल अगर इंस्पेक्शन आ गया, कोई आ गया ऑफिसर, तो बता देखो सर हमने तो बता दिया था इनको कि आपका इक्विपमेंट नहीं चलता. You must also facing the same issue which we are facing.
Absolutely. One more thing which I wanted to understand, Pritesh ji, is do we have dioxin furan analyzers for emission monitoring?
No, this presentation is not about my product presentation, Rajesh ji.
It's not a question of your product. It's a question of technology availability.
No, currently we don't have that technology, dioxin furan, and that's we don't have that currently.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh ji, for your question. If anyone else has a question, you can please answer.
Yeah, madam. This is
Yes.
Vikas Yadav from industry, one of the industry. So in Maharashtra now ETS scheme is started, since they are taking follow with all the industries for installing the SO2 sensor. So I want to know about that one. Sir said call 1, call 2, and call 3. So how much it will work for this industry for ETS scheme?
See, ETS, it will more back. You see, ETS is what? You are going to trade your environment, okay,
Yes, yes.
pollutants. So it is more important rather than anything else because there's a money involved, you know. So it has to be a more reliable, more authentic, you know, more credible data should be there in the ETS project. So लेकिन होता क्या है सर? टिक मार्क होता है. Like, you know, I should not tell, but अभी इतना ही बोला तो थोड़ा और भी बोल लेता हूँ. आप you know about the first ETS project about the dust, कहाँ पे था? It was in Surat.
Yes.
You know? Now,
Yes.
just tell me, आज भी वो स्टैटिस्टिकल वाले जो है ना बोलते हैं कि 30% पोल्यूशन रिड्यूस हुआ. मैं तो बोलता हूँ आप अपनी कार लेके वो क्या बोलते हैं उदना, सचिन, पांडेसरा वहां जाइए एंड जस्ट ओपन योर ग्लास डोर. बट स्टिल द ट्रेडिंग इज गोइंग देयर. सो सर वो है ना काफी पॉलिटिकल चीज है, काफी ब्यूरोक्रेटिक चीज है. उसमें मैं भी नहीं पढ़ूंगा और शायद आप भी नहीं पढ़ो. बट आपको लगाना है, अगर यू विश दैट यू वांट अ राइट इक्विपमेंट, यू वांट टू नो दैट योर प्रोसेस, your scrubber process is working well, you know, your filtration system, your process working well, you must invest into the right authentic equipment. It is not about the certification, it is about the authenticity and the validation of the equipment which you will test into that.
And sir, will अभी एक तो ईटीएस स्कीम हुआ, लेकिन ये कंप्लायंस के दृष्टिकोण से भी देखा जाएगा
हाँ
बाय स्टेट पोल्यूशन बोर्ड।
हाँ हाँ, वो तो देखेगा ना, वो तो दोनों चीज आएगी ना सर। वो ईटीएस वाला ईटीएस करेगा, कंप्लायंस वाले कंप्लायंस देखेगा आपका एसओ2 इससे ज्यादा नहीं जाना चाहिए।
हाँ हाँ।
वो ईएलवी तो रहेगा ही आपका, एमिशन
यस यस
लिमिट वैल्यू तो रहेगा ही रहेगा। दैट इज गोइंग टू
यस।
बी अ पार्ट एंड पार्शियल ऑफ द थिंग्स। दैट इज
या या, थैंक यू।
या
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Do we have anyone else who wants to ask a question? You can please unmute yourself. If you want to ask a question, you can also use the chat box. I will be happy to read the question, or you can just unmute your.
Madam, can you share this? Yeah, madam. Can we get this meeting's recording for purpose?
Sir, we will keep you posted over email. We will just send out all the info over email.
those who want this recording, I can be a live recording. I can come to your place and again present this. Don't worry. In that case.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You can either you can Sukada can provide my contact details if required, and I'll come live. Don't worry.
And all of you can please also see Dr. Pritesh's contact details on the slide he has shared. So please feel free to take a screenshot. He has very graciously shared his contact details and is available to all of you. Sir, I think one question from my side. We
Yeah,
have
please.
some people in the audience who are in the process of setting up a power plant, right? So
Yeah.
what would be your advice from a practitioner's point of view with regards to CEMS systems and what they can take care of specifically at this point of time?
See, the most important part, they must be power plant establishment is not a small thing. They must be having some EPC contracts, engineer
Right.
procurement. They must be given either to Thermax or maybe some other, like what you call, इंडिया में कौन सा फेमस है वो जिसका बहुत लोग बात करते हैं कि वहां तो जाना भी डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. So this type of EPC they are deciding no, ensure that when they draft, because normally क्या होता है प्रोजेक्ट्स में EPC ही ड्राफ्ट करके देता है.
Right.
The owners have a very less voice into that, putting into that. So I always advise that when you have a voice, you ensure that you, if you about this product, you ask them to mention this all this thing. कि मेरे को कॉल 1 चाहिए, उसका टेस्ट रिपोर्ट चाहिए, मेरे को उसके साथ उसको ये बोलो कि AST भी इंक्लूड करे, कि 1 साल के बाद AST करे. If they do this thing, probably the EPC guys will have a challenge, to have this. Otherwise क्या होता है, as a standard 4 कंपनियां है, I don't want to name it on this open forum, 4-5 कंपनी है जो हम लोग जानते हैं और 75 साल पहले भी जानते थे, अभी भी वही जानते. So that will come into the mind and that will be projected into by the EPCs into that. Change हो रहा है, काफी change हो रहा है. Industry is also making a lot of change, and I'll tell you that I have seen out of my 1900, more than 1900 installations, pan India and overseas, there are 25%, 20%, 25% industries who do really work on emission. That they really use this equipment for the benefit of the optimization of the process and conservation of the environment into that. So while they establish the project, probably this is the main thing. They must have their own views of having the instrument put into that project.
Right, sir. So basically, you're saying that the owners should have a point of view and input in this.
Yes. Because I have seen in many industry, I'll tell you, with the big corporate industry, I see that वो बोलते क्या करें हम लोग, हमको मालूम है नहीं चलता, लेकिन वो प्रोजेक्ट में आ गया इक्विपमेंट, वो चलता तो है ही नहीं. ये होता है बाद में. अभी इंडस्ट्री का व्यू है कैपिटल है ना इन्वेस्टमेंट. So इंडस्ट्री बोले यार मैं इतना कैपिटल डाल दिया, अभी तुरंत 6 महीने में थोड़ा ध्यान डालूंगा. तो बोलता है चलाओ जब तक चलता है. और अभी ये चलाओ का सिस्टम ऐसा है ना, आपके पास कभी एनवायरमेंट के लिए पैसा आता नहीं है स्पेयर.
Right.
You don't have money spare for environment and safety. So this बाद में वो सिस्टम हो जाता है.
That's true, sir. So, sir, we have one more question from Bhavna. How is the information spread in both the buyer and seller communities most MSMEs and new plants adopt sustainability initiatives when it makes fiscal sense to them. Is there a significant difference in how companies operate before and after CEMS monitoring?
That's what I told. No, between I found at 20 to 25% industries the change into their entire process.
Right.
They heavily invested into the pollution control device. See, this is a measuring equipment. It doesn't. हाँ, लेकिन अभी दिल्ली NCR में I don't know how many of you know about दिल्ली NCR AQI. ठीक है. हाँ, आप केजरीवाल साहब आए तब से मालूम पड़ा कि AQI बढ़ रहा है हमारा. उसके पहले भी बढ़ता ही था, लेकिन बढ़ा तो मालूम पड़ा AQI बढ़ा. But in last September, October, there was a guidelines given by the Central Pollution. I am actually surprised. मैं openly बोल रहा हूँ because it has been there. This says all the 2,670 medium micro scale industry should install the monitoring equipment. By installing monitoring equipment, we will reduce the AQI. तो मैंने अपने डॉक्टर को फोन किया. मेरे को सर मेरा बीपी बढ़ रहा है, तो मैं जब मॉनिटरिंग इक्विपमेंट लगा दूं तो मेरा बीपी कंट्रोल में आ जाएगा ना. बोलते ऐसा कैसे आता है? So the question is, monitoring equipment is an investment, capital investment. Another capital investment which you can derive from this measurement or the trend is your controlling device. So आपका ESP modify कराओ, back filter modify कराओ, बराबर? You install and wet scrubber or other scrubber, dry scrubber system. So this investment कौन करता है? So I found that more than 20, 30 people, the industries out of 100, they are really investing into that. काफी तो ऐसी मीडियम स्केल इंडस्ट्री है, बट ही सेज नो, वी आर वेरी कंसर्न अबाउट द एनवायरनमेंट, वी वांट टू इंस्टॉल एंड दे रन द थिंग्स. So I hope I have answered that.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Anyone else who would like to ask a question to Dr. Shah? You can unmute yourself if you want to ask a question. All right.
Or they can get in touch with me any point of time. There is no issue.
So, yes, sir. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Shah, for your time, inputs, and for your presence today during this session. We're really grateful that you were the speaker for this BWU Expert Session. And for all the attendees, as you can see, the contact info for Prima Equipment and Dr. Shah is available on the slide. So please feel free to reach out to him. I've also dropped the link to the BWU Heat and Steam community that we are building, which is the biggest community for verified heat and steam professionals in the world that we're building. So please feel free to fill that form, and it will be our pleasure to help you join this community. And yes, we will keep you posted about upcoming sessions. And if you need us to pass on a question to Dr. Shah, do feel free to write to us as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Shah, on behalf of everybody at BW.
Thank you, Sukada, and it was a really honor to be a part of sharing the experience to all the learned participants. There was a new participants and all knowledgeable participants. I just tried to make the little given awareness and what has happened in India. So when we talk about making in India, made in India, we must proud for our country and our product. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and we'll definitely be ready to be there whenever you require for any other knowledge sharing session.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prakash.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Pritesh, Rajesh, Anjan, Vikrant, Atul, Sairam, Jaswant, Samendra, Diksha. Thank you so much for joining. Ritesh, Asmita, Sarvananand. Thank you, Vikas. Thank you, Khushi. Thank you, Jatin, Rashmi, Bijoy. Thank you so much for joining us today.